Hey everybody, this is Gary of the OK Modeler channel and welcome to episode 19 of the USS New Jersey build. So in this episode I'm going to be working on getting some of the aft parts of the ship done here. Specifically, we got to address this big elephant in the room, and it's this helicopter pad. In one of the episodes, previous episodes, I think it was like somewhere many months ago, I initially did this, and when I put the decal on for the helipad, everything came off. So kind of went on some forums, a 350 1/400 scale Facebook page, and there's some recommendations. So one of the things I did was I scored it this time with a sandpaper. And so at least I have something to adhere to. And then the first time I used the metal primer, and that's probably a bad decision right there. It works well if you're going to bend things, but for flat surfaces, it is not needed. And I think that's what happened when I tried to put it on there. I put the decal on there, the primer just kind of ripped off everything. So the process I'm going to do this time around is I'm going to do the surface primer. And then once that dries up, then I will add maybe a mist of this lacquer paint on here. And then possibly I will add the true color paint on top of that. We'll see how that works. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is put the primer on this. Once it dries, then I'm gonna get a piece of tape and see if it comes off. If it comes off, then I think I might have to take a different direction. So let's see how it goes. All right, got the helipad all painted up right here, looking good. So let's see if it can hold the tape here, and if it does, it might be in good shape. If it doesn't, then I'll have to go to plan B, which would be using water decals from the kit. So I'm just going to test a small corner right here. Just kind of rub it here. And then let's see what happens. Oh, all right. I think we might be in good shape here. Let me go and get the spare decal that I got from my either the Iowa or the Wisconsin set, and then let's go ahead and try this again. All right, I pulled the spare dry transfer decal that I got for my Ponto's Wisconsin kit here. So I'm fairly confident this will work. It has to work. All right, so here we go. And as you can see, I taped everything on here. And hopefully it's straight. It seems to be straight, but with my 4 eyes, I can't tell. So here we go. All right, let's see what we got here. Peel this off. More rubbing is needed. Yes, success. All right, I'm quite happy with how this turned out. Might be a little crooked, but you know what? It's good enough for me here. Some of the paint came, or some of the decals didn't make it over here, so I'll just get some white paint and just kind of fill that out. You can see here, probably with the light there, some of the black paint came off, but you know what? This was a lot better than it was before, because if you haven't seen the last one, it just kind of took a bunch of the paint off. So yeah, I'm quite happy with this. It's given me a lot of confidence to knowing that I can put dry transfer decals on here. So that's great. So I'm happy with that. So I guess the key is, you know, if you're working on this, make sure you clean your metal, then get sandpaper and score it right here, you know, just kind of score it. Add a primer, put your paint, and then put your transfer decals on there. Also, patience is the key, because you want to make sure that your primer is cured as well as your paint is cured before you put this on here. So, all right, on to the next thing. All right, so the next step I'm going to do is get these utility boats painted. I already painted the most of the boats, 3 of them here, the modern haze gray. And so now the next step I need to do is paint the bottoms of these utility boats to a semi-gloss black, which I'll be using this one right here, the X18. And then there's one more here, and this is the kind of luxury utility boat here. I've noticed in some pictures of the USS New Jersey, I saw it on their YouTube page, they had this boat, and the whole entire hull was painted black, so that's what I'm going to go for. Anywho, so I'm going to go ahead and get started on painting that, and I'll be right back. All right, got the semi-gloss black on here, so let's go ahead and peel the tape off and see how it came out. Oh, you can tell a little bit of paint bleed. That's okay. I'll just touch it up with the brush. It's not perfect, but you know, it's good enough for me. Ta-da. There's one. Here's this one. All right, that didn't turn out too bad. This one had no tape. And all right, so overall not too bad. Maybe a little touch up is needed, and that's expected for something that small. So, all right, I'll get those touched up and then try to figure out the paint scheme for the top of these utility boats. This one goes like that. So primary on this one, this will be white with some dark windows painted on here. And same here, I'm not sure, probably white inside, but I'm not sure. So I gotta do some research and see what colors those are. So we'll find out. All right, so it's been a few weeks since I've been working on this model. Had to take a break, the holidays with work and stuff like that. But anyways, I did work on these utility boats here. I didn't put a whole lot of detail on there. I figured, you know, not a lot of people are going to say, oh, check out the utility boats on your model here. So not too worried about the fine details of it. But I did paint this boat right here, the whole all black. I seen the New Jersey YouTube video and they had a picture of this, and I was like, well, I'm just going to go ahead and replicate that the best I can. So that's why this is all semi-gloss black here. Here are the other smaller boats here. I used the Modern Haze Gray, semi-gloss black. I did use this sea gray color that I had here that was in my stash. I haven't used it in a long time, but I think it used to be a company that test stores owned called Pactra? Sure, whatever. Yeah, that's what I used. I figured, well, why not? And then the darker colors inside the boats, I used the same color that for the hull or for the surface of the deck. And here are the other two here. So they're not perfect, but it's good enough. All right, so with that out of the way, I started working on these 60-foot booms here. This one goes to the port side, and this one will go to the starboard side. There's 5 pieces, basically kind of like the other derrick that I did in a previous episode. You're taking this little piece here and then inserting it here, and then there's a little hole for this one right here. You can see, and that pin slides in here, and then you just kind of have to adjust it to make sure that your brackets are going to be on the ship itself, on the hull. So I'll try to go ahead and put this on here on camera, but I don't know, that could be a little boring for some folks, but that's okay. All right, I'll be right back. So for those who are wondering, here's the instructions for the Pontos. So get this part, fold it in half, shove it in the hole here, glue it, get this bracket, fold that, put that in here, and then you got your booms here. There's 2 ways of doing it. You could either have it in a position where it's not extended out, which would be this one, or you could have it extended out, but you will have to put the rigging on here. Now, I did not put on number 220 or 255 because one of the pieces just went bye-bye. So I'm just going to go ahead and do with what I got. All right, I'll go ahead and give you guys a quick rundown. Here's the bracket right there. Here's the piece that you fold in half. Try to make the fold as close to perfect as you can. And if you have magnifying glasses, it would help tremendously. Just insert it into the hole right there, like so. Position it to where you want it to be. For my cause, it would be going like that. And so once you get that glued in here, like so, then you take the rod here and just insert it into the hole right here. You can barely see it, but then it just goes doink like that. Glue it, and then you'll want to go ahead and put this piece on, which goes about right here. Make sure it's lined up so you have the hole in the right position. I believe that, yeah, so never mind that. So right here on my first one here, since this is the port side, I have my bracket right here will be glued to the hole here, and then right here there's a piece that's missing that's already on the hole, but I broke it off, but that's okay. And then it's going to go on the hole like that. So all right, I'll work on that. I'll be right back. All right, folks, go ahead and start putting on the helicopter pad. So let me get that taken care of, so that way I don't have an extra piece just laying around, because that's what I don't want. It's more pieces that I could lose, which I've lost plenty already. Oh, gosh, I'm trying to remember how I did this on the other ones. Don't want to put too much glue on here. It's pretty secured already. Plus, if you put too much glue, it's going to pop up through these holes like you can see right here. Some of the glue came out or came up through the little holes. I'm just going to leave it as is because I don't want to ruin this helicopter pad. We already had one issue with it. Don't want to deal with it again. All right, that takes care of that. All right, next thing, I'm going to try to put these, I don't know what they call them, like a storm drain or something like that. A mesh that goes right here. It's not going to be perfectly flush, but I'll take it. The viewer told me to get something a little thinner to put my glue on, so hopefully he's impressed with my brass tubing here. All right, I'm gonna say good enough. Okay, with the helicopter deck glued in already, I worked on these this whip antenna right here, and it's supposed to look like the antenna that's on the bow with the wires going kind of like a cone or something like that. But when I was working on it, one of the photo etch pieces just went bye-bye and it's gone. So yeah, maybe next time I'll put some tape underneath my photo etch stuffs before I cut it so it doesn't fly off. Anyway, so what I'm gonna do is just gonna leave it like this, just this antenna sticking up, and just kind of move on with it. So speaking of moving on, I started working on this this shield right here and added the fire hose right here. Let's see if you guys can see it. Yoink. Okay, well, maybe you can't. So it's right there, and there's a fire hose that goes in this space right here, so I'll go ahead and put that on there too. So basically the fire hose is an option that you don't have to put it on there, but if you choose to, it kind of gives it a little more color, a little more realism on there. But you got to make sure that you place them correctly, because if you place it too close to the edge of the bottom here, it's not going to seat properly. There's a groove right here, so you kind of have to leave a little room just in case for so that way the hose doesn't interfere with the insulation on this. So let me go ahead and put the hose on here and I'll show you what I mean. All right, here we go. I got that, sorry for moving the camera. I got that put in. Maybe I need a little more light. Well, there's a small space right there, so you're just gonna have to trust me on this. I know you guys have trust issues, but here we go. So just kind of sits like that. And here's the hose reel, folks. It's right here. Didn't do a great job on this, but and it just sits just like that. So there you go. We got that part of the ship done here. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those pieces onto the rear deck, and then I'm going to go ahead and put those utility boats onto the where they're supposed to go. Yeah. All right, so I thought I was done with the aft section of the ship, but I'm not. I forgot to add the 60-foot boom that goes right here. So that's what I'm going to do. I think I've explained this. There's a few pieces. There's this rod. You got your point that goes right there, and a support. And there's supposed to be an end piece that goes there, but that went into outer space, so that will never come back or never be seen again. That's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and try to put this on here. And hopefully it goes on pretty simple, but you know how it goes with this project is kind of wears you down. So let's see what I can do here. Oops. That's what you get for a low budget production right here, folks. Oh. All right. I'm going to try to reinforce this with a little more glue, and then I'll work on the other side, and I'll be right back. All right, so while I let that 60-foot boom dry and cure, I'm going to go ahead and start putting the utility boats over here. I got one done. I put these little footings on here because I either removed the one from the kit here, the molded piece here, and so Pontos has the replacement footings for the utility boats here. And I ended up gluing it using the Ultra Glue, this one right here. The reason I didn't use the super glue or CA glue is the points on these things here are very, I guess the area for where the footing and the utility boats connect to each other, very small surface area. So I decided I'm just going to try this, and it seems to work right now. So, but I will be using this glue here to go on here because obviously super glue will get absorbed by the wooden deck here. Plus it allows me a little more time to kind of adjust a little bit as to how I want this boat placement here. So go ahead and coat the glue on here. You could be a little generous on this. Don't be cheap. That's what my wife and my mom tells me. So here we go. All right. I think I got it. All right. We'll wait several hours for the glue to cure. All right, so the next boat I have here is the smaller utility boat right there. It goes on top of the bigger one that I think that's a 40-foot one here, and this is a 26-foot. All right, so it goes right here. I'm going to put my CA glue here, so hopefully this will not bite me in the rear end. I think I got it. I'll let it cure for a little bit and then hopefully it stays on. Feels like it. All right, thumbs up on that. Okay, so I got my starboard side utility boats put in here, as well as the 60-foot boom over here. All right, now the next thing I'm going to be working on here is I'm going to try to get this mast put up. So, as Ron Calvary would say, I'm going to go ahead and recompose, and I'll be right back. All right, let's see if I can get this added on here. Hopefully the mast doesn't fall apart or my arms doesn't get in the way of other things. So let's see here. Oh, it's making me nervous already. All right, well, that's not quite on, but let's see what I can do here. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and see if it's level, and I'll be right back. Well, the main mast is put on now. Finally, I don't have to worry about knocking the thing over. And I secured it with some super glue. I put some here and over here. Now, there are some challenges that, as you've seen in when I was putting it on there. One of the things here is the platform or the footing doesn't quite reach the deck over here. Kind of sucks. It bottomed out over here, so I'm not sure exactly what happened, but yeah, so whoever wants to build this in the future, you may want to do a little dry fit run on here and then maybe add a little more styrene down here to have it reach to the deck. And also this leg here, the support, I guess you could say it's a tripod now, is supposed to be with, glued in with the first funnel over here, but there's a gap right here because the photo etch is blocking a part of this, is obstructing this leg, so it can't really push in all the way, which kind of sucks. So, with how this project is going on, I'm just going to leave it the way it is. And maybe the next time when I work on another Iowa class battleship, I can try to improve on that part. All right, well, we've reached the end of this episode here. With the holidays, the New Year's, family commitments, and just me watching a lot of TV. This episode took a little longer than it should have, but that's okay. It is what it is. So what we did is we got this 60-foot boom in, as well as the helipad, which was a great accomplishment in my opinion. Third turret is in, as well as the utility boats and the main mast. So now the ship is starting to take shape and we're near completion at this point. So hopefully the next episode will be the final episode of this build. Anyways, for the next episode, being the finale of it, I gotta put the 5-inch guns here. I got the UFH antenna that needs to go here, and the railing that goes along the ship. And maybe a little bit of details too, like painting the funnel over here, and maybe adding a couple more doors and life rings and stuff like that. So just a little more small things, but we're pretty much to the end here. So anyways, let me know if you guys like what you're seeing or have any questions or comments. Just put them down in the comments below. If you haven't, hit that like button and smash that subscribe button too if you haven't. And I have also created an Instagram page. It's the same name as this of this channel, the OK Modeler. So I'll be putting pictures up showing my progress in between videos, or episodes, I guess I should say. So check it out there. Anyways, hope you enjoy this episode, and I will see you all on the next one.